really the best degree of due diligence that I've seen on that project, and certainly give you a full briefing on that, allow you to ask questions. So didn't mean to interrupt, but I did want to just make that point that I'm open to meeting with any of you. And I have responded when each of you have called. There's issues in your ward. I know my staff has. We'll continue to do that, but I couldn't agree with you more. We need to have a good communication back and forth between council and myself.
Okay, are you done? Okay. I think I need more than a briefing, because I want to be clear in what I'm saying. The position that I need to have with the meetings and discussions that are going on with you and a body of folk as decisions are being made in behalf of the constituents in the 5th Ward. I certainly will appreciate a briefing to bring me up to speed on everything that has been decided at this point. But I think it's critical that that I, as a representative of the City Council, be a part of those meetings, discussions, and implementation. Now, you and I have been having some difficulties having a meeting, and we've gone back and forth about this meeting with you and I. There's some high priority things in the 5th Ward, such as the Smith Village project that has been started, and I still need to meet with you to discuss those high priority things. And I won't get into detail about our meetings, but we only had one meeting, and that was the week of your appointment. And I will follow up with Maxine to get on your calendar for a follow-up meeting, and hopefully we can get that meeting soon. But my point is that the 3 individuals that was meeting with you, and Mr. Kincaid being the president of this council, information is not being shared with all members of this council. And I find that problematic because as a leader of this body, as president of this council, I think you need to be aware that it's certainly fine that the leadership of this council, being the president, vice president, and the finance chair, meet with you, but information should be shared with the entire body of this council. And it should not come to the vice pride. And that is information I'm sharing with you as you continue to meet with them, that something is put in place where that information is filtered down, or those discussions in that meeting and decisions of whatever that are coming about in that meeting is shared with the entire body of the council. And maybe some others may have information from those meetings, but this member of council does not get an email, does not get anything in my mailbox, did not get a phone call, did not know from the leadership of this council that those meetings were occurring. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you.
I know do better than me, but that don't stop me trying.
Hi, this is Jim Scroviero. We're here at Skid Marks Raceway. We're here racing our slot cars. It's made in Flint, and we're proud of it.
Thank you. Good evening, Mike.
Good evening, Sheldon.
I do want to say that I do share support for the comments that was made by my colleague, Councilman Waller. With that, I will ask my questions. I have received quite a few phone calls from my constituents. We did talk a little bit about that, but I do want you to address these issues, mostly about crime. We had some comments about crime, but I want to start with the water rates. And the water rates with the residents of the city of Flint. Is there any real plan to do a detailed audit of the water and sewer fund so we can get a better financial footprint of what is happening with our water and sewer rates?
Yes, there is.
And when will that occur? Do we have a time frame?
Howard, you out there, in terms of getting an audit of the 30% leakage and the rates and that kind of thing? Where are we with that?
Within 30 days.
Within 30 days.
In 30 days. Now, also, is there a plan to, after that audit, because we know in the latter part of our tenure here, we had authority that some individuals were being paid out of the water and sewer fund. They did not provide any service to the water and sewer fund. Is that going to be recouped or repaid back to the water and sewer fund so we can make sure that users don't have to pay additional costs for services that was not provided to them?
Again, when we do the audit, we will rectify those things. I'm not sure, just the details of that, but if we get the audit, we'll have certainly better facts at our disposal to make decisions on.
I think that's important because a lot of people at home are concerned about the increase in water rates and that they were charged by the previous administration or the administration for services that did not provide any services in the water. So I think they need a rebate or some type of rebate. I think my colleague, Councilman Nolan, talked about a little bit of the issue of crime and blight in the community about the scrap metal dealers. The scrap metalers coming into your home, vandalizing your home. Scrap metalers coming into your home and scrapping. Also, there was a payment made of $20,000, one by J&S and also by Schooners to provide some extra additional defense against these type of crimes happening in our community. Has that money been dispatched for the protection of residents in the city of Flint, or?
I don't know the answer to that, but I'll get that answer for you.
No, Councilman, that is an account. It's being used in a plan, a comprehensive plan to develop to go after scrap metal theft, including digital cameras is one aspect of it, but in addition, creating a web-based model to track folks that apply for a permit to sell scrap metal. And we've been working on that, looking at what the state of South Carolina has done for a permit system, and also working on developing a county-wide approach involving other municipalities in Genesee County that have scrap metal dealers. So the funds are still sitting there. The development of that online system would require use of a consultant, would also require computer equipment. That's what those funds right now is the discussion surrounding those funds and how to best utilize them.
Who's architecting that whole plan? Who's putting that plan together?
The legal department is working with the police department. We're also working with Citizens News Task Force. We're going to consult with IS concerning who would be best equipped to help us develop a web-based model. And again, this is all subject to the approval of the emergency manager.
So the money is still not being executed for that purpose that it was intended. You just created the plan right now.
The money, I know what you mean by executed, the money is sitting in an account pending development of a plan that best utilize it.
when that money is dispatched or a third party that is in control of that money, or when the plan is completed, please share that with us.
Sure, we can have some ongoing discussion. You know, I know that's an issue. I've invited Councilman Moore, like you, to input into that.
Thank you. One more question, Mike. We talked about cutting, you said that there's additional counsel that's been brought on to deal with negotiating the unions as it relates to the police, fire, and other contracts, ASME contracts. Are we looking at generating any additional revenue streams rather than just looking at cutting right now?
Yeah, I mentioned 4 areas that we're looking at revenue, and certainly what I believe, I mean, that, like, for instance, some communities have gotten permission to raise their income tax. You have to go to the state legislature for that. And I really believe until we take care of the expense side of our situation, nobody's really going to take us serious. We're just asking for more money to, put good money after bad. We won't get anybody to listen, but I think there are issues like that. I've said before, I think that we're not the only community facing these kinds of issues. We might be one of the few that are in receivership, but there are municipalities around the state, because of the state of the economy in Michigan, that have been challenged in much the same way. They've got much the same challenges, and I think you're right that we need a revenue side of the equation and an expense side. And we'll look at those options, but certainly my challenge, my charge right now is to look at the expense side.
Also, like you talked about the operation of the city lockup facility as being one of the tools that we can use against crime in our community. For financing that particular tools and the challenges, have you looked at or investigated the proposition of bringing our impound lot back into being in city control?
That is one, and you may have been the one that kind of brought that to my attention, but that's one that we'll look at. I think as I've asked people about it, one of the questions is, does it really generate the kind of revenue that could pay for the lockup? It could generate enough to pay for a portion of it, but I think we need to look at several ways to raise revenues there. For instance, I was talking to somebody about just putting phones in a lockup. Folks can use credit cards, but that can be a revenue producer. Other municipalities have benefited from that. So to look at, I think, several options, but the impound not being one of those.
Well, I'm very interested in seeing the audit in March, and also a very detailed audit for the water and sewer funds, because I really believe from the calls that I receive from my constituents, they're very concerned about the cost of water in the city. We talk about infrastructure needing more repair, and our finances not being in condition, financial condition to repair. I don't want to see more increases come down the road and we not have to look at where we are with our water and sewer rates. Thank you.
Mike, we have 2 more council members to ask questions. Is that okay?
That's fine. Yes.
Councilman Wayne.
All right. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Mike, for being here. Just want to make a comment and a couple of questions. In other communities, the emergency manager hasn't set up committees with citizens, with council members, hasn't been meeting with the elected leadership of the council, and hasn't had ward meetings. That's not true in Benton Harbor, Pontiac, and some of the other areas. So this is a highly imperfect situation that we're in with an emergency manager in Flint. But I do commend you for doing that out, so I appreciate that. A couple questions. Talk about more police on the streets. Representative Amick, one of our 2 state representatives that cover the city of Flint, had a proposal in the newspaper last week to put, I think, 30 to 50 cops on the street using some state funding for the next couple of years. Can you comment on that specific plan, and have you talked with Jim Amick about that?
I met with Representative Amick. We talked about a number of issues. I have not specifically talked to him about this latest proposal, but I do know that he has been talking to the governor's office and to the state police, and those are the same folks we've been meeting with.